So I'm going to talk about some new products that I have while painting this leaf. So basically when I get started, I find my reference photo, I get my carbon paper. This is a pack that I got from Amazon. I couldn't tell you how much I paid for it because I've had it for years, and it came with black, red, and blue paper. And I'm also trying a new paper right here, and it is from Jerry's Artarama, and there are 10 pages in there. It was $12. Thought it was worth a shot. And so you have to make sure that you put the carbon paper, the shiny side, down. And I tape it down on the paper first, and then I tape my reference photo also so that it doesn't move, because everyone knows that is like the worst to spend time tracing something and then find out you did it all wrong. And trying to erase off of cold pressed paper is a little tricky. So I just trace over the image, and you have to use really light pressure because it doesn't take much to create a really dark line. And so if you're just trying out doing this, I would totally recommend giving a few test runs just to get the pressure right. And once you've traced your photo, then you take the tape off, and then voila, there it is. Sometimes you get some little smudgies all around, and you can kind of get it off and use a really ridiculously big brush. And then I'm trying out some new paints here. Also, I got these from Jerry's Artarama. Also, there's comparable to the Cotman, because I was looking for a few colors that I didn't have. And you also saw my adorable palette right there. I got that from a lady on Etsy. She's from the UK, and I was so worried it was going to come broken, but she packed it so well. And she is called Muddy Ceramic, and it's so cute, so cute. So I'm just going to put in all of the colors here, and that one was kind of an oopsie. Sometimes when you're visiting other places that have humidity and you come back home and you do not have humidity, things don't settle well. I'm not exactly even sure what to do in this type of case. You can't really shake the tubes when they're so full. But anyway, I'm just going to fill my palette up here. My husband was so worried that the wells were not going to be big enough to fit paint. The palette also came, I bought it, the little stand right there. And there is the metallics. And I'm using several different brushes. I'm using the Princeton Aqua Elite and the Velvet Touch and the Golden Natural. Sorry, I had to look at it. I couldn't remember. So the Aqua Elite, I have the 6 and the 10. And the Velvet Touch, I also have the 6. There is a little difference between the Aqua Elite and the Velvet Touch. The Aqua Elite, the bellies are a little bigger, so they hold more water. And sometimes it takes just a little bit to get used to holding more water so that you can get that consistency while you're painting. The Velvet Touch, it's a little easier to control. And the point is a little different to me than the round Aqua Elite for some reason. I don't know. But it's a preference thing. They all do different things. I think they're fun to try. So this, the first color I was laying down was the Azilian Crimson, and then the second one was the Purple Red. The Purple Red looks amazing. I love it. It's really kind of like the permanent rose kind of color. I was really excited to get these greens. These colors were all colors that I was missing out of my tubes. So both from my professional Winsor Newton and the Cotman, I didn't have these colors. So I really felt like I needed them, because we always need, air quotes, more art supplies as artists, right? So here is the phthalo green, and I have no idea how to say this other green. It's VIRIDIAN. So both of those I thought would be amazing in my collection. And then this purple. And then the blues I got was the ultramarine and the cobalt blue also. And again, missing these from my collection of tubes. So I really like them. And the purple is actually, I think, the best purple color that I have. I have a few other purple colors from different brands, and they don't seem to lay as well as this, which is surprising considering these were way cheaper than the others that I have. So these are about $3-4 a tube. Sometimes they're having sales and whatnot. These are considered student grade. And I can't remember if they had collections. I just bought, picked out colors that I liked. And this color, I don't like as much as I thought I would. And it's the pearl rose color. And it seems a little jelly to me. I don't know if that makes sense. But it didn't really lay as well. Maybe it didn't mix as good from traveling. Because sometimes the humidity changes in traveling make things weird. So, but that green looks phenomenal. Do you love my napkins? We had birthday parties and my mother-in-law left napkins here. I don't know, she might not approve of me using them for art, but they're so pretty. They're absolutely pretty. And there's the yellow. I think it was cadmium yellow. Yeah, the yellow. On there, I'm getting paint all over myself, I can see. Just add in a few crazy details to color. Smear things more around. Okay, I went ahead and used the hairdryer to blow my art so that it would dry out and I could do a few more things for this video. But as you can see, it's smudged. Oh well. Happy accidents. Okay, so I absolutely love using gouache, and this is the Winsor Newton just permanent white gouache. I really think that just using a few colors of gouache can really amplify your picture, give it a little spice, a little texture, a little something, because sometimes it just feels like a piece needs a few extra somethings, and gouache to me does that. And the Winsor Newton gouache, I think by far, is the best gouache that there is. I have tried to do cheaper gouaches, and they just don't compare at all to Winsor Newton's gouache. It lays so good. It covers things. You can lay it on top of something and give some lines and whatnot. So I'm also going to be using the Pale Rose Blush gouache. And I think if you're going to invest in some gouaches to use in your watercolor for things like this, I would definitely get black, white, and the Pale Rose. Because you can do so many unique things with the Pale Rose blush. And here I'm trying to cover up my boo-boos. And it will not work. I already know. And then I gave up. And I'm gonna add a little bit of Payne's Gray just to add some more texture into the lines of the leaf here. And I know I talked about using black gouache, and I could have used black gouache there, but sometimes you don't want the black to be very bold. And it is good to use watercolor in those instances, like in this one. I didn't want it to be very dramatic. My leaf is already really dramatic. And this color is that pale rose blush color I was telling you about. I think what I like the most about it is how it complements a lot of those colors that I've used. It looks amazing against that ultramarine, against the greens, the purples. It's a good complement. So you can do little doodles and stuff around, and it won't take away from the actual piece. And like I was saying earlier about brushes, I'm using that Velvet Touch brush right here, that round. A lot of times with doing outlines and whatnot, I'll use my liner brush. But with this brush, it holds so well, and you can get a little more of those details in there. And it's not so dramatic, because it holds just enough. Like the Aqua Elite would hold too much and my lines would be too thick. So that's the difference. And we'll just keep outlining with that amazing pale rose blush color. I did try to mix. Initially, I got the white and a few other colors, and I was going to mix and create my own pale rose blush. I knew I could do it, and I got pretty close in my color mixing, but it just wasn't the same. So I kind of just decided to give in and be lazy and go ahead and try it. And do a little more lines all around the edges there. And then, of course, and then the glitter. Because that is what this fancy leaf needs. Now that color right there, that's called Mermaid Scales. And that is like a turquoise glitter. And that looks amazing. It's really cool how just a little bit of glitter, I mean, you don't have to even use as much as I'm using here, but just adding a few highlights in the glitter really livens up a piece. It really brings some extra texture. That color right there is the Unicorn Blush color. And it blends in really good. I've used this for flowers. And then this, which color did I grab? Okay, that is the Unicorn Money. That's black sand. I really thought, I mean, looking at it, it looks like it's black, but it isn't. It is a little purplish, I think. See, compared to the Payne's Gray that's down on the bottom of my palette, you can kind of tell that it has a little bit of like a brownish, purplish tint to it, which works out phenomenal for this picture. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but once I use the hair dryer on the paper to dry out the painting, the paper did flatten out a little bit, so it didn't stay curled. And then I just need to touch up a few little areas because I went a little crazy with the glitter. Because I do. I really like glitter. My lighting is not that good, but you should be able to see a little bit of a shimmer. And that, my friends, is all